Are we live? Okay. You can see there it goes. This isn't like the start of Keenan and Kel.
The problem when I switch the scene.
Yeah, cool,
I know. When I switch the scene, though, the problem is that the music starts over. So I need to just wait until it ends and then immediately switch the scene instead of letting it go. Anyway.
That's fine.
Get into it.
We're here. You're listening to THIMK. It's like think, but with an M instead of an N, so it's THIMK, a podcast for learning, an educational-ish podcast. I'm your host, Nicholas Rowe, and with me, as always, is your co-host, your other host, your also host. Other titles to be determined.
Yeah, patent pending on some of those titles.
Paul Vine.
Hello, it's me, Paul Vine. I'm here. We got a fun week, I think, here.
We got a real fun week. This is episode 90, the 90th one of these that we've done. Mm-hmm. We're getting up there. We're mature.
Before we get into, there's 2 anniversaries I want to shout out right now.
Okay, yeah.
One is today. Do you know what happened 15 years ago today?
15 years ago. So that would have been, okay, not 9/11, 2/11? I don't know.
It involves 2.
3/11?
Kind of.
No. What is it? Go ahead. I don't know.
Mr. Dickolas Cheney, former vice president, did shoot a man while they were hunting quail, I believe. Yeah. I believe. So it is the 15th anniversary of Dick Cheney shooting that man in the face, and then that guy apologizing to him for it. So that's a fun anniversary.
All right, let's get some cheers for Dick, for old Dick,
for old Dickolas. And then the second anniversary here is actually more personal. Do you know what happened 5 years ago? Technically, yesterday. 5 years ago.
You shot that guy in the face.
No, yes, I did. I finished the job. Dick still owes me money. No,
but then Richard Gere represented you. You dolled yourself up and you got off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did tell him
legally and sexually.
I faked a pregnancy, not my own. No, five years ago, February 10th, 2016, was the inaugural episode of this podcast.
Oh, for real?
Yes, I found that out because 5 years ago, I shared the post about it on Facebook.
The very first post?
Mm-hmm, with Casey.
This is the 5-year anniversary of the first episode of THIMK. Wow.
5 year in one day, technically.
5 year in one day. Wow.
A podcast has come extremely far, and at the same time, not nearly far enough. Considering
not at all. 5 years? That's crazy.
5 years and 90 episodes means we're averaging. Let me do the math real quick. 18 episodes a year.
Yeah, we put about a month's worth of work into each episode, don't we?
To be fair, we did not stick with anything either because I didn't even come onto this podcast until episode 9, 10.
Yeah, 9 or 10. They're all on the Patreon. They're all on the Google Drive on the Patreon, so they can be found.
Changed wildly around episode 20, I think.
Yeah. Well, so it first started, and we did little riffs of just pitching new podcasts every few minutes. And then I tried to do like a segmented thing, like this week is crazy. And then how do you feel about that? I tried to write jokes about the news, and then I tried to write jokes. No, I actually sat down at my typewriter in my bathtub, smoked a cigar, popped some Ritalin, and tried to write jokes, and it just wasn't good for my heart. So I gave up comedy.
Nick was doing that, I was taking our young son out to the hedge maze and exploring that, and then I came back and I tried to look at some of Nick's jokes, and it was just the same thing written over and over, and then he tried to kill me with an axe.
Yeah, what was it that it said over and over?
I said all jokes and no jokes makes Nick a joke boy. It was very bizarre. I didn't
all jokes and no jokes make Nick a joke boy. Yeah, that's right. I'll have to find that notebook that has that written down all those times and then post that online for everybody to see, because it's true. Mm-hmm. All jokes and no jokes make Nick a joke boy.
So, that's why you were really pissed about that movie coming out. Yeah. Oh fuck! 2 years ago. a year and a half ago, where he said, "I'm going to become the joke," and you were like, "That's me."
That was 2 years ago.
It was 2019.
Oh shit! Well, someone's gonna get Joker-fied later on in this episode.
We're gonna go into that, but I just thought I'd
Well,
open with that little.
Yeah, because we went from that, then we did some riffs, and then I think one of the first episodes you did was we did Obama's top 10 like sci-fi movies.
Sci-fi movies, yes.
Yeah, we went through that. Then we did 3 Alex Joneses and a Baby with Michael, which is just
probably the peak of this podcast for sure.
I feel like we've never really got back there, but you know, it's hard. It's hard to find a new thing that that is just pumping. You know, we're no longer pioneers. You know, we don't. Our hearts got smaller. Our blood started pumping slower.
Yeah, we aged rapidly. That's the thing about jokes, is that as you age, they get worse. That's why all dads are not funny.
All dads are not funny. ADNF. All dads not funny.
Yeah.
All dads no funny.
A danf.
A damf.
A damf. Yeah, and then we settled into the learning thing, and it's kind of shifted a little bit since then, but the basic format has been there since like episode 24, 25.
Yeah, well, because then we used to have competing educate offs. And back when we had Harold, and then
R.I.P.
people R.I.P. Rest in power. And then we heard people say, you know what, it's really good, but you brush over a topic too much. We'd like you to spend more time. Now, why don't one of you pick a topic? And we said, okay. And then they stopped listening. And then we found out that it's much harder to fill like a whole hour to an hour and a half with one thing.
Right. Or the other feedback that we got from my father, which was that sometimes we would just kind of go off on a tangent and lose track of literally everything for roughly an hour.
We don't do that anymore.
Yeah, we are always on topic all the time. What's this episode about?
What did you title it? You say it. You typed it.
Oh boy, buddy, I'm gonna have to open that up because it's a lot. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. They both reach for the gun.
That's right. That's right.
We're talking about the Bruce Springsteen Super Bowl ad and the subsequent news around.
Honestly, I feel like something's rigged, right? Because like Jeep did pull that commercial. It's impossible to find now. You can't find it now.
So
it was a
funny.
bad commercial.
It's an awful commercial.
Yeah, I feel like Steve Van Zandt called a favor in and was like, we gotta get him off. We gotta get him off. We gotta get it off the TV. Remember that time you did one shot of tequila and then you got arrested?
It's good. The commercial is great. It's Bruce Springsteen talking about like, it's just a Jeep driving around. You don't even know it's Bruce unless you recognize his voice like Nick. And he's just like, America used to mean something.
It's like, there's a little chapel in the dead point, the center middle of the country. It's a tiny little shitty church. But you know, churches used to mean something. Now, I may be a guy from New Jersey that spent my whole life playing in bar bands, but now I got a cowboy hat and a Jeep without doors, and you're gonna go with that. Am I a country guy? No. Did I write an album about country guys an album ago? Sure. I don't know if Jeep's not paying that much attention to my styling, or if I'm just one of those middle-aged guys that's kind of going through that thing where I want to be a cowboy now.
To be fair, to defend Bruce Springsteen wearing the cowboy hat, the first Bruce Springsteen album I listened to in its entirety was Magic, which is kind of like a cowboy album. That was like his like most country Americana album by far at that point, and that was like mid 2000s, early 2000s.
I mean, I don't like Magic. My mom likes Magic. It's really like Bruce's return to arena rock. I don't like it. I haven't gotten into it.
He makes like a rabbit come out of a hat. Fucking sucks. Hated that. He cut a lady in half. That's rude. You don't do that. That's mean.
He did that weird collab with Penn and Teller.
He ate a tiger, a whole tiger, and made it disappear.
The last album I actually like from his original shit is The Ghost of Tom Joad. It's a good album. And then throughout the 90s, I don't really care.
Don't like Ghosts.
And then
we talked about that on this podcast.
Yeah. Well, and you like Tom Joad, don't you?
I like Tom, hate Joad. My least favorite book of the Bible.
Nice.
Stupid joke. All right.
Stupid joke. All right.
Anyway, Bruce got arrested for as best as so. The funniest thing. So
he did the Jeep ad, and then everyone was like, "That ad's pretty fucking lame." Like everyone was just like,
nobody liked it.
No one liked it. It wasn't good. It was like, it was like Biden's campaign wrote it for him. And it's just like nothing. He picks up dirt and drops it on the ground. He's like, "This is the soil we all stand on." And like I said, Bruce Springsteen's never has been the smartest guy, but he's got a lot of enthusiasm, charisma, and he's got some neat little sayings. I like and in the end, nobody wins unless everybody wins. That's a good one. But he started writing really corny lyrics, and I think the corniness really comes out in that commercial, and it's just fucking trash. But then,
like 2 days later,
I woke up, and then you said, "Billy Joel's better than Bruce Springsteen," and I said, "You eat your fucking words." And then you sent you sent me a link that said that, okay?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm done with this podcast. Five and done." That's what I say. 5 years and I'm out. I can't share a fucking screen with this guy anymore. But then you're like, no, these people found out that Bruce Springsteen was arrested for a DWI, which, Billy Joel's never had any problems with alcohol.
Okay, but this is my theory here. Is that this is I need to get the record straight. My theory here is that Bruce Springsteen's lyrics have always been more political, or at least political adjacent. He is much more willing to talk about like unions, or at least this like weird idealized form of unions, and like working in a factory and how life in America sucks. Whereas Billy Joel is all about like getting your dick sucked. That is everything Billy Joel has ever written about. He is horny. Sometimes he's poignant and horny, but he is incredibly horny, and like he channels all of that into drinking and driving. And he's not allowed to operate a car. There's a reason that Billy Joel is not doing a Jeep commercial.
Is he really not?
I'm pretty sure he is banned from driving in the state of New York.
Yeah, that checks out. That seems right. And I like Billy Joel's music. Like I said, it's definitely more. It's probably more fun. Like a lot of his songs are pretty fun. I like Scenes from Italian Restaurant. Scenes from Italian Restaurant's a great song.
It's a song that, besides Paradise by the Dashboard Light by Meatloaf, which was literally written by a like musical composer, like a guy who writes for musicals. It is probably the go-to, like, this song belongs in a musical because it does the like rapid changing of styles that people associate with a lot of musicals.
And my theory is that online people, Zoomers, like Billy Joel because it's show tunes adjacent, and they like Hamilton. They like musicals. That's where we're getting so much attention with this lesson plan that we've been doing.
Love this podcast.
They're all over us. Yeah, we're trending on TikTok. I put the episodes, like the full length episodes, into short TikToks. So there's like hundreds of TikToks.
We should just put our podcast over Kook Slams. That Kyle would watch it. That's how we get Kyle to watch it, is if we just like replace the audio from Kook Slams with this podcast.
I'll get Kyle to send me some Kook Slams, and then I'll edit that just as kind of a test, and then I'll run another billboard ad just to see if we can get that.
It works on multiple levels, because sometimes when we make a joke and it's not funny, which rarely happens, that's kind of like when somebody is like trying to jump off a tree and then gets eaten by a tiger or
which never happens to us, except when Bruce Springsteen ate that tiger. But yeah, so then the news came out that back in, what was it, September? Bruce Springsteen was November. Okay, Bruce Springsteen was arrested on a DWI charge.
Yeah, initially the story was just he got arrested for driving while intoxicated.
And I said, that doesn't sound right. That's not the Bruce Springsteen I know. Bruce Springsteen.
Nick grew up with Bruce.
I grew up with, back in Ashbury Park, back in the Jersey days, he was saying, hey, you guys can be in my band, but you can't do drugs. Okay, you can drink a little bit, not too much. You don't drink too much. Because his dad was a mean drunk, and He's got, if you watch the old concert footage, he'll just stop in the middle of the song while the band plays, and he'll just kind of like have a little therapy session to the audience where he just kind of talks about how shitty his dad was and how drunk his dad was. So it's like, that's not the fucking Bruce I know. He doesn't drink that much. If he's drinking that much, something's wrong. And then we got another little tidbit of information that he was arrested in a park.
It was a park. Mm-hmm.
Driving a motorcycle. And then more news came out. I'll defer to you on that.
It feels, honestly, this whole thing feels kind of like you're playing a game of Clue, you know, and you're like, you're just trying to piece together what happened, because it's like, he was drinking while driving. All right, shit, that's not good. It was in a public park. Wow, Bruce, why are you driving in the middle of a public park? And then they're like, his blood alcohol content level was 0.02, and everyone's just like doing the math and like, that is not that much. That is a quarter of the legal limit. And they're like, well, it's a federal park. And I'm like, oh, what is happening? And then it came out like yesterday that what happened is he was riding. Some people stopped him to get like a photo with him, and they offered him a shot of tequila. And he was just like, I'm not driving currently. I'm incredibly sober. I don't want to be rude. I will take this. He's talking like Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear.
He's in a public park. He likes to talk like Yogi Bear.
I'm just your average arena rocker.
I'm a drink of the tequila. And now it's weird accent. I don't know. I lost it.
Anyway,
point is, he took a shot of tequila. A cop saw, and then was just immediately like, I'm arresting you.
Yeah.
There's no arrest report, I believe, is what I read. So it literally is just a cop being like, I saw you drink that tequila. I'm going to arrest you. Reasons that are unclear.
And there's like a lot of things there. Just like nuances that I'm curious about. One, like the group, you know, you see Springsteen on a motorcycle, you flag him down. Like, hey, can we get a photo with you? And you're like, should I offer him a shot? I'm gonna offer him a shot of tequila. Bruce will do a shot of tequila. Right?
I don't think that's weird, because when I was in Chicago for the Pride Parade back in 2015, John and I decided to walk from Boys Town. You know where Boys Town is, to the United Center to go see U2, because we had tickets. So we got incredibly drunk. Boys Town.
You were walking through Boys Town of Wrigleyville on Pride. Mm-hmm. I think that you'll get arrested if you don't drink.
Well, but it was a thing where we were not blackout drunk, because I remember the whole thing, but we were very tipsy, and we had to, and it was hot because it was the middle of summer. So we stopped on a stoop. It could be about both. It's both. We'll get to the musical. But we stopped at a stoop. And a group of people from the suburbs of Chicago were just like, you guys are cute. You want a shot of Jaeger? And they just pulled a bottle of Jaeger out of like their back pocket. And we were like,
you're right.
Let's keep this party going.
Springsteen's cruising by on his motorcycle. Some people flag him down and say, hey, boss, you're cute. You want a shot of tequila? And he said, let me turn off my motorcycle and do a shot of tequila. And then woo, 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 woo. Then the cop pulls up and is like, I don't want to do any paperwork, but you're going to have to come with me.
Yeah, that seems to be it.
Do you think the cop just like hated Springsteen?
It's either he hated Springsteen.
You think he's like a Bon Jovi guy, or like a Mellencamp guy, or like his wife's real into Springsteen, and he was like, honey, guess who I arrested today? That fucking
he just wanted to appear really cool in front of his wife.
Jersey boy.
I arrest. Well, that's the thing, right? Because the end result of this, now that all this information has come out, is like the cop looks bad. All cops are bad. like we start from there. But this cop in particular is really bad. And now if they find out who that cop is, New Jersey, the whole city of New Jersey
is fucking coming for him.
Is gonna get him.
It's fun that the way it worked out is Bruce Springsteen's terrible fucking Jeep commercial is scrubbed from the entirety of the internet. And it just turns out like cops are dicks. It's just another example that even to Bruce Springsteen, cops are fucking assholes. I
mean, somebody made what's the don't pull me over in Nebraska? There's a line here. So
that's it. You got it. Hey, speaking of cops and drinking,
and
bands
Chicago.
with saxophones in them, and Chicago.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into what the M and THIMK is for this week: musicals. I'm gonna say that every other week, and yeah, so this is about Chicago, the musical, which I didn't know fucking anything about.
Here's what
now I know a lot about.
Okay, Nick's the expert. Here's what I know about Chicago the musical. I was pretty sure it's what All That Jazz came from. Mm-hmm. And there was ladies in jail. A lady for jail for ladies. I
didn't know about that. All I knew was Catherine Zeta-Jones. That's the one thing I knew about this movie was Catherine
She's
Zeta-Jones.
in this, yeah.
As soon as it started, I was like, there's Catherine Zeta-Jones. She has blood on her hands.
That's weird because it didn't open with her.
What did
it takes like it takes like a couple seconds before she appears on screen.
You know what I mean. Lipschitz. Cicero.
Yeah. Sick? What's the
I don't know, Repo. We can get to Repo. Yeah. Oops. Gum. With Kander or Ebbs? No.
We have just to be very clear up front. Nick and I don't know anything about musicals. So if you're expecting like an informed, like this is musicals 101. I know Bob Fosse. And not anything about him, just that people highly respect him. And I saw one video of a different choreography thing that he did that like was going around when Hamilton came out, and people were trashing the like cinematography of the Hamilton stage adaptation. It's not adaptation; that's just what it is. But the Disney Plus thing, because it sucks. We talked about that 2 weeks ago, so
we did. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I know about the Bob Fosse bit. So, do you want to talk about the plot of Chicago? I feel like we can get into that later. The history of it's fucking fascinating.
Yeah. No. Let's just go through it. I don't think we need to go by beat. You know.
Can we just do a basic summary? Because I feel like it builds to it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So at the start of it, Catherine Zeta-Jones comes in.
We should let's limit. Another podcast I listen to does 5-sentence summaries. I think that's great. How close can we get this to 5 sentences?
5-sentence summaries? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And they can be kind of run-on sentences.
Catherine Zeta-Jones. I'll take the first one. Catherine Zeta-Jones, aka Velma Kelly. Velma is a cabaret dancer with her sister, but not now. Because she's got blood on her hands, she's disposing of a gun, and her sister's not there.
Sentence 1, okay. Roxy Hart, played by Renee Zellweger, is a aspiring cabaret dancer who is having an affair that ends poorly, and now she's in jail. Due to murder. Should be very clear. There's a murder involved.
Her simp of a husband, Amos Hart, played by in the film John C. Reilly, funds Billy Flynn, hotshot lawyer, who knows just how to pander to the tabloids, to be her lawyer. To represent her, and he's already Roxy, and he's already representing Velma, which causes a tiff between the two in the women's prison when Roxy starts getting more media coverage than Velma. Period.
Through machinations, Richard Gere, Billy Flynn, manages to get both Velma and Roxy acquitted of all murders. Every murder.
And then they start a stage show together.
Yeah.
We did it in 5 fucking sentences. Pretty good.
Episode over. Done. Bump.
That's it. Okay, so I think it's fascinating that Chicago, the first version of it is Chicago as We Know, the musical.
Real quick.
Came out in 1975, yes.
Did they name the city after the musical?
No.
Okay.
I
Good.
don't actually know what Chicago means. I actually looked up recently what Chicago means.
It's a flower, I think. It's a
Cool.
plant
Let's
of some
just say
sort.
it's a flower.
It's a plant of some sort that the tribe that lived in that area referred to, and all the dumb people who showed up were just like, "What are you saying? Chicago? Cool. This is what this is now." I'm pretty sure.
Land of the stinking onions. You were
yes.
way fucking off. Yeah, the flower, the famous flower, stinking onions.
Onions are like a flower.
That's okay. That's fine. You know what?
I
We're
don't
not going to
live
get
in the dang
sidetracked by
city.
how much
You
a
live
fucking
there.
onion. Well, I
Quiz
said
me on
I
the
didn't
history of
know. You
Cincinnati.
said you knew. What's Cincinnati mean?
It's named after Cincinnatus.
A flower?
It's a Roman farmer who became dictator of Rome for like wartime, and then was like, "I'm going back to my fields." Bye, and everyone was like, "This is cool." And actually, technically, it's named after the Society of Cincinnatus, which named itself after the Roman farmer who was a brief leader of Rome. What were we talking about, Nick?
You should call it land of stinking, because it stinks. What is this? The critic over here?
What?
John Lovett's the critic. It stinks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm familiar.
That's my impression.
Baba Booey. That's not from that. That's from a different thing. Continue with the history of the city of
We
Chicago.
should have took your dad's fucking note on not getting distracted about this. I tried to not go down the path of what is going to make that whatever. Anyway, so Chicago's loosely based on real life, and when I say loosely, pretty loosely. Do you know about Maureen Dallas Watkins?
I know that people have been killed in the city of Chicago.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, she was a journalist. Journalist slash, I guess, playwright, right?
Yeah, she had a really interesting life where she was from Kentucky, Louisville, Lexington. When she was a kid, at 11, she put on her first play. She was in a lot of, she went to 5 colleges, eventually wound up studying at the playwriting workshop at Harvard University. Then she bailed because she wanted to get real life experience basically, and went to Chicago. She worked in advertising for Standard Oil, and then didn't like that, so she wound up being bad move. Well, it's cool. She left it, and then she decided to become a reporter for the Chicago Tribune. No, someone else becomes the Joker later.
Okay.
We got a lot of stuff to get through, Paul. You can't just say words.
I'm sorry.
Jeez. She only worked there for 8 months, but there were she covered death row for women, murderesses row, as they called it. And there were 2 main cases of Belva Gardner, a twice divorced cabaret singer, and Belula Sheriff Annan.
Beulah, I believe.
Beulah, yeah. Beulah.
A name that I only remember that because I noted earlier to Sarah, like, you just don't encounter anybody named Beulah anymore.
Beulah.
Like I feel I feel like I know like Mildred's Madge's, like some like classic old names, but Beulah feels like it disappeared.
And so did she 4 years after the events of that inspired Chicago. It's a little dark, but true. So yeah, basically Beulah was the inspiration for Roxy, and Belva was the inspiration, and loosely, of course, but
and their lawyers became the inspiration for Billy Flynn, right?
They just got amalgamated into whatever, a slick talking lawyer type. They got merged together. So Belula is the closest equivalent to actually what happens with Roxy, because she did have an encounter with a man. The story, what was reported changed a few times, but basically what happens in the play, the movie, is she's ambiguously in kind of a sexual relationship that turns violent with this man.
Yeah, real quick, to kind of go back to the film, like, maybe we should save this, but I'm like curious on what your thoughts on, like, did somebody do a crime? Did Roxy commit a crime?
What? She went to jail.
Going to jail does not mean you did a crime.
Sorry, I mean, okay, yes.
That's what the film's about, man. The film is a critique of the justice system.
Yeah. What's your question?
Was she wrong? I guess it's less of a like did she legally do a crime, and was she incorrect to have shot the furniture salesman?
Roxy in the movie.
Yes.
Okay. In the movie, yeah.
I don't think so. I think she did the right thing.
You don't think so?
I think she did the correct thing.
He's a fucking scumbag. And the entire the entire theme of this movie is that murdering men is actually hot and they suck, which is cool, but not legal. I'm
not saying. I'm like she did
a murder. She murdered him. So that is a crime. Yes. In this situation,
she killed a man. Yes, but
yes,
that man definitely did sleep with her under false pretenses. In an act that in modern life, I think could be considered sexual assault.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
Does it excuse it?
I'm gonna say no.
All right,
but that's what we have fucking juries for. Anyway,
I think it's a gray area.
I don't agree.
Sorry, I know this is a podcast for jokes, but I'm very frustrated about the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, what he did was wrong, but I don't think necessarily vigilante justice of shooting him 3 times when he was not in a position of threatening her, as depicted in the movie, is right. However, in real life, fucking Beulah, I don't know. I really don't know. It's a long time ago. It seems like Maureen Dallas Watkins wasn't really sympathetic to these to her, at least later in life.
Well, she felt bad because she didn't want to sell this story.
We're building to that, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But basically, what happened with Beulah is what happened with Roxy in the movie. Is there was don't know what happened exactly. But she shot a guy, and then
just to watch him die.
She listened to apparently there was a fight over the gun. They both reached for the gun. That was the story that it turned into later. That's where we got the title from. At first she said she murdered him. Later she said it was in self-defense. She felt like she was about to be raped. Later she said that he was he told her he was leaving her, and then she got angry. So it's really unknown.
This is all Beulah's story, right? In real life?
This is Beulah. Yeah. This is real life. So unclear. But what did happen was that she shot him, and then made cocktails, and then listened to a record for about 4 hours while he died. And that record is Hula Loo. It's a song called Hula Loo, which I looked up, which is basically like hot girl shit. It is very much just about like, it's about like an attractive woman. From the, I think the line is like, if you want to know about women, you got to ask a sailor.
Okay.
It's
Nick. An
let
aside.
me see if I can find it. Because the first version I listened to was by
we stand Beulah,
like an obscure
sure.
jazz singer.
I do have a question for you. Yes. Which is, if you were in a similar situation where you shot a man.
Oh my God, are we getting to fucking morality here when I'm just trying to get through the fucking
plot?
No,
this isn't a morality. This is a fun question. If you shot a man, what record would you put on? And I guess like it's one song, or is it a whole record? This is an era where I think it's just
this
one
is the
song.
1920s. I don't know. I think they worked like fucking.
Okay, what song would you put on repeat for
Rocket
4 hours?
Pops back then, where you just bite on it and you get 30 seconds of a song. I think that's how old school shellac LPs work.
Sure. What wax cylinder would you put on while you watched a man die that you just shot? For 4 hours.
For 4 fucking hours?
Peanut butter jelly time?
Peanut butter, the hamster dance, dude. I don't know.
I was thinking caramel dancing would be a good one.
Caramel dancing?
Caramel dancing? It's like
what's caramel dancing?
It's a very catchy pop song. Just look it up. It's a big hit in the early
Here's what's going to happen. I'm eventually going to murder you and sit for 4 hours listening to the Quirky Dog theme song over and over and over and over again. I just make old fashioned after old fashioned. and feel fucking happy.
That's The Shining right there. That's the plot of the movie The Shining.
Hey, all jokes and no jokes makes Nick a joke boy.
Ooh. Sandstorm is also very good.
Sandstorm's good.
I think any Euro like trance song would be very good. Like roller rink shit.
Cotton Eye
Joe. Yeah. Ooh.
Fucking Cotton Eye Joe, dude. We didn't start the fire. Take it back to Billy Joel.
Mm-hmm. If I did Billy Joel, I unfortunately probably would do Vienna.
Yeah, I want to hear the Badgers song.
Okay.
Badgers.
Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny.
Shit, yeah, it brings the fucking lemon demon back to your demise.
God. Man, early internet. Mid internet. Early internet's like 90s shit.
Oh, Only the Good Die Young is good. The best song about you don't need to go to church. Let's just fuck. Forget your fucking religion. Come on.
Again, he's just like
you gonna read that old book, or you want to have a fun time? Billy Joel with old BJ.
Yeah, he's just like Jesus died a virgin. Do you want that to happen to you?
What, you want to be a fucking loser like Jesus?
Nah.
You like stained glass that much? Come on, get out of here.
Yeah, get over here.
What's her name? Come on,
Virginia.
Virginia. Dude, how lazy is that? Virgin. Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Because she's a virgin.
What if he is saying virgin?
Virginia. Yeah. Come on, virgin. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like ya's like like in certain hip hop songs, people would just be like yeah. Like that's Billy Joel's version of that. It's like him just be like yeah, he's just like come on. He's like come on, virgin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
yeah, Ariana Grande.
That's good. Yeah, we should do our fucking Ariana Grande Death Grips THIMK remix of Only the Good Die Young, featuring BJ himself.
Oh yeah.
Shit. Great. Anyway, so Velma's fucking based on Belva Gardner. I think that's how you say her name. She was 39. And she was seeing a younger man, and the reports were basically she entered the car, 2 gunshots, she left. What they found him was dead in the front seat of a car with a gun and a bottle of gin. And
nothing suspicious about that.
She was like, I got drunk with him. I don't remember anything. Maybe he killed himself. Why would I kill him? He's a fucking young boy, and I'm a
lady,
an older, mature, THIMK's target audience. I'm a nearly 40-year-old cabaret dancer.
Do we have the numbers on that?
Yeah.
Do we have a demographic?
We have a lot of former and current cabaret dancers in the
So cabaret dancers from Mexico is the closest thing I have to Mexico City in particular, I believe, was where we were big last year, 2 years ago.
A lot's changed in 2 years. I don't know if you pay attention to the news, man, but a lot's been different in the past 2 years.
Ever since AMLO won, we just haven't been the same down there. It sucks.
Ever since Diplo did something,
Diplo's president of Mexico.
A lot's happened in 2 years, man. I don't know how to tell you this. Anyway, she fucking Maureen Dallas Watkins covered their story. I don't know. She obviously wanted to be like a dramatic writer, and the story got very sensationalized. That's what sold. That's what people wanted.
Right, because that's all the recurring thing in the musical is that like that lore of like they won't arrest or they won't convict. The way that I saw it phrased was a feminine or beautiful woman.
Yeah,
which is a weird dichotomy to draw.
One of the things I watched for research of this stated that I'm not even gonna fucking touch to say that in the chat. A lot of fun things. Apparently they started. I don't know if this is true, but they started like basically a beauty school in the Murderous Row part of prison to try and appeal to the male juries and of the time, and get these women off. Because once again, the theme of this fucking play is that like
off.
murdering shitty dudes is hot.
Yeah.
That's it. Everyone agrees. That's the entire.
I don't think that's the theme of the play.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some other themes the play hits on.
There's no satire here.
Okay.
Anyway,
everything is played incredibly straight.
Very straight. Maureen Dallas Watkins eventually quit. She went to Yale Drama School, and for a writing exercise, she wrote a play, not a musical, but she wrote a play that was originally called Brave Little Women, and then
the sequel was Brave Little Women Go to Mars.
Then she called it Chicago. Then she called it Play Ball, and then she called it Chicago.
So what? It was Chicago, changed to Play Ball, and then back to Chicago?
I think the working titles were Brave Little Women in Chicago. Then the first published version was called Play Ball, and then the second version was called Chicago. But now, when that version is played, if anyone ever performs it, if anyone ever puts it on, they call it Play Ball now, because Chicago later turned into something which we're about to get to. When that play came out, it got adapted into 2 different movies.
Yeah, there's a silent one in 27.
Yeah, there was a silent one produced by Cecil B. DeMille in 1927. And then in 1942 with Ginger Rogers, they did a very loose adaptation that I watched part of, and it's fascinating.
She's innocent, right?
She's innocent. It had to be a code film, so she's completely innocent. I just watched the beginning of it, but it's a frame narrative where these 2 reporters are talking in a bar, and there's one new. The movie's so fucking good. It's just like the old like black and white like newspaper headline, and it's just like hot woman murders shitty man. Hot woman murders multiple shitty men, and then it turns the page.
They
and
weren't
it's like,
allowed to say shit if it was a Hays Code film. What was it? Is it called Chicago? It wasn't called Chicago, right?
No. So this movie is called
Roxy Hart.
Roxy Hart. Yeah. Anyway, so it starts with these 2 reporters. They're covering like all these murders. There's one reporter who's new, and he's like, I don't have the stomach for this. And then they have one old reporter with a mustache. You can tell he's got like old age makeup on. And then he's at a bar, and he's talking to the bartender, who's Fred from I Love Lucy, and the same actor, old character actor. Anyway, he's like, he's getting drunk. He's singing songs. He's like, all this murder and all these songs. It reminds me of this, the case of Roxy Hart. You remember her? Then it goes back to the past, and basically it's a loose adaptation of the original Chicago non-musical play, which is meant to be satiric, which is meant to be an indictment of sensationalism and the news, and how crooked and corrupt the justice system is, especially in Chicago of the 1920s. This plays it as a very...
The problem that they've since fixed, famously.
Yeah.
The non-corrupt government / criminal justice system of Chicago today.
That's what people say of Chicago, the most just place in America.
You can't spell Chicago
without high.
Yeah.
Without a go, which is when I got off topic. A bit ago. So they did the movie in that she's innocent. There is a man that's murdered. She's sent to prison. It just focuses on her. They kind of cut out Velma's character, downplay her a lot. I didn't watch the whole thing, but she's innocent. The reporter investigating it, who is a man this time, finds out that it's actually her husband. What?
Well, in the original musical, the main reporter that we see is also revealed to be a man in drag. Not in the film. Yeah, not in the film. So Mary Sunshine, the ending of the original musical is that she is revealed to be a man, and is the one that like pushes Roxy and Velma to do like their big cabaret duet thing at the end. Yeah, Little Mary Sunshine.
Okay.
That's all I know about that. I just happened to read that, so. Okay,
I don't know about that aspect of it all. I know Mary Sunshine is in the original play.
Correct.
In the original play, where she's supposed to be a parody of reporters, of sensationalist, which she is in the movie, in the musical. I didn't know about that part. Anyway, and fucking Roxy Hart, which is not what we're talking about, but I just want to get it out. The thing that they do is that it's actually her husband that murdered the guy. Damn. And is trying to pin her on it. And the reporter, finds the evidence, turns it in, basically saves her. She has to choose between, and her heart is torn in twain, between wanting to be with the reporter or wanting to be with one of the jurors who's a rich Wall Street stockbroker. She chooses the reporter, we find out, when it goes back to the end of the frame narrative, and it's now 20 years in the future. They're at the bar. It turns out the guy behind the bar is the stockbroker that she chose not to go with.
The bartender is?
Yeah, because he lost all of his money in the stock market crash.
Oh, right.
And so
20s.
he's become, yeah. And so then Roxy shows up with like 6 kids in tow to pick up the old reporter and says like, honey, I'm pregnant again. And then that's the happy ending.
And the old reporter there was the one that she married?
Yeah, it was the,
all right. Sure,
yes.
Whatever.
And that's the reveal. So that was the last adaptation. Then at some point, Bob Fosse wanted to make a musical. He approached Maureen Dallas Watkins, asked her once. She said, I want to make a musical. She said, of course you do. No. And then he went again.
She
said,
died.
She went again. He said, I'd like to make a musical. She said, no. Then she died. Then he went to the bank and said, I'd like to buy those rights. And they said, you got it.
Yeah. Kind of shitty.
Yeah.
It makes you kind of wonder if Bob Fosse didn't murder this lady so that he could do this musical.
I think she's pretty old, man.
I'm not accusing him. This is, he can't, Bob Fosse is past now. He cannot come after me. This is just pure speculation.
Yeah.
I do need to see more things that Bob Fosse did.
If Bob Fosse murdered her, it's still a crime. I'm just saying. It's still a crime. She did another movie.
We always talk about hot girl shit, but we never talk about hot guy shit.
Why would we?
That's a good point. All right.
She did make a movie called The Libel Lady. She became a screenwriter later in life. She eventually walked away when I think her dad died, and then she went to just like
that's rude.
Stay
like at the funeral.
What?
He died and she just walked away?
No, she left her career behind after her dad died and went and stayed with her her mother, and then she founded Contest and Chairs in Greek and Bible Studies.
Not important.
Mm-mm. And then we get into fucking Bob Fosse, which is where it gets fun.
Do you have a whole lot of background in Bob Fosse?
No, I wish I did.
Okay.
This is because we should talk about
we should talk about the musical.
Yeah, no, I wanted to give the history because I think it's fascinating that this was real life. That was like a popular tabloid headline or like a popular newspaper story.
Bob Fosse does have a posse.
And then it became a play, and then it became a silent film, and then it became a like bastardized Hays Code film, and then it became the musical.
The second longest running musical in Broadway history, beaten only by Phantom of the Opera.
But apparently it's not even like so much the Fosse version that's the original version that's the popular version. It's the like stripped down revival, the like minimized revival that is the like longest running version. And the movie is a combination of both of those. Okay.
Because I know Fosse was dead by the time the movie came out, but they do explicitly thank him, and a lot of the choreography, my understanding, is lifted from his initial direction. Which I feel like the clip that I saw of Bob Fosse's work, I wish I could remember what that was from, is definitely apparent in like the cuts and the way the camera follows the dancers while also keeping in mind like what the music is, like timing it with the music. It is way more engaging and fun to watch, and also easy to understand what is happening in a way that, just because it was the last thing I watched, Hamilton, was not. Well, technically, the last thing I watched was the 1979 Salem Slot movie, which is great. Everyone should watch that.
And so, actually, I do want to know more about Bob Fosse. I know at some point we were talking about doing Cabaret, and I think maybe next time, or maybe next time, we should do Cabaret, because I'd like to use that as an opportunity to look more into Bob Fosse, because that is a name that I've heard forever. And also, I think we have a guest for Cabaret, if we do choose to do that. But yes, God, there's so many musicals. We could do this forever. We could just turn.
I really want to do Into the Woods at some point, just because I want to rewatch that, and I know that it's like literally the opposite of like of Cabaret and Chicago. Because it leans way more into it's comedy. It's basically comedy. But I
and it's all like fantasy, like mythological, like cartoony, happily ever after stuff, right?
Yeah, it's kind of making fun of every Disney princess plot ever.
So it's kind of like Shrek?
Yeah, it is kind of like Shrek, I guess.
You fucking should have told me that from the beginning.
It's kind of like Shrek. You get to see both Chris's chests. I don't remember which one. Alpine is one of them. The other one is Hemsworth, I think.
I don't know. We can talk about that when we do that episode. I loved this movie. I didn't know that Catherine Zeta-Jones or Renee Zellweger could dance or sing.
I forgot they existed,
idea.
honestly. And before we recorded this, I actually looked up, because like, was this a thing where they were big in the night? Because like, I know Catherine Zeta-Jones because of a Psych joke about the movie Entrapment, and I don't. Like, I'm sure I've seen her in other stuff. That's better than
knowing Catherine Zeta-Jones because of a entrapment joke in Workaholics, which is how I feel like a lot of people think of Catherine Zeta-Jones.
And similarly with Renee Zellweger, like, they're both people who, like, Sarah mentioned Bridget Jones' Diary.
She's Bridget Jones, yeah. She's she's You Had Me at Hello, if I remember correctly.
I thought that was Tom Cruise. No, Dustin Hoffman. Who says that? Who says that? Who says that? She says that line to who?
Tom Cruise, I believe.
Okay. It is Tom Cruise.
Jerry Maguire. Where the fuck
it is
are
Jerry
you getting
Maguire.
Dustin Hoffman from?
They're the same person.
I don't know who that's offensive to, but it seems like fucking someone, bud. Jesus.
It's not important. My point is that like I honestly forgot both of these people existed. Honestly, Richard Gere as well. Richard Gere was in Hachi, A Dog's Tale.
Oh yeah, I like Richard Gere. I never liked Richard Gere, and I watched American Gigolo earlier this year, which is a very good movie, and he plays the lead in that. And finally, I said, I think I get it. I think I get the appeal of Richard Gere.
Do you understand why David Duchovny Fox Mulder wanted Richard Gere to play him in the X-Files movie in Hollywood AD?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
He's great in this, by the way. I think Richard Gere is wonderful in this film.
Yeah. Queen Latifah?
Queen Latifah's great.
I just saw her silhouette and I was like, is that fucking Queen Latifah? And then it was, and she was great.
This film is definitely the best musical that we've watched.
When Roxy first gets to prison, the woman that she talks to immediately, I was like, man, Catherine Zeta-Jones looks different. But it was the actor who originally played Velma in the 1975 Broadway version. So they give a little cameo to the original Velma.
You're talking about the old lady smoking the cigarette?
Yes.
When she appeared on... Yeah,
there's a lot
when
of
she
people
appeared on
cigarettes in this.
Yes, when she appeared on screen, I went, "This lady fucking rules." So
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I guess she originated the role, or was the original Broadway performer. Which is, I like when they do that. It's like when they did that weird version of Cape Fear, and then Robert Mitchum and the other guy, I should fucking know his name, show up. It doesn't matter. This is probably my favorite musical that we've seen. I was impressed throughout it. But apparently
the music is good. It's not. It is not cheesy. And like, despite being satirical, like a satire or whatever. The thing that I was talking to Sarah about this, and I'm curious. I wish I knew more about musicals because I'm curious as to why the Academy
I wish you
Awards.
did too. This would be a much better.
This would be a much more entertaining podcast. But I'm curious as to why the Academy Awards roll musical and comedy into one category. Because in my head, other than like Phantom of the Opera, and I guess Cats, like musicals, I've always associated them with comedy or like funny, but that was just, I think, purely by the bias of like what musicals I heard about. Because obviously it's a big field. There's a lot of them.
It's a big field. You got to go into that field. I don't know. I feel like that's old Hollywood stuff. A lot of those award shows are so fucking outdated, like beyond outdated to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't pay attention to the Golden Globes or Academy Award anyway, but
yeah,
I just thought about it because Chicago won for Best Musical.
I feel like that's something they probably did when they did the first award ceremony, and they're like, we got three kinds of movies about trains, we got dramas, and then we got comedies. And someone was like, what about musicals? And they're like, well, those are funny, like comedies. And then they eventually dropped movies about trains after that kind of came out of vogue. But I hear they're talking about bringing it back.
We could do that.
I heard that's why. By the way, this is a Miramax film, which does feel a little icky whenever I see Miramax now.
No. Here's a fun fact. So you know who originally was supposed to play Billy Flynn?
Who?
Michael Jackson.
David Duchovny. What?
Yeah, originally they wanted to get Michael Jackson to play Billy Flynn, and Harvey Weinstein nixed it because he was afraid that Michael Jackson would. Probably because he's racist, allegedly probably racist. But he thought that Michael Jackson would overshadow everybody else in the cast. And this movie would be very different if Michael Jackson played that role, I think.
Yeah.
How, I'm not entirely sure. But
so they actually wanted Michael Jackson. It wasn't like a Jar Jar Binks situation where Michael Jackson really wanted the role and then they were just kind of afraid to say no to them.
No, what I read was that they wanted Michael Jackson and Harvey Weinstein was the one who was like, absolutely not.
That's amazing. To go from Michael Jackson to Richard Gere is
not a leap. If you put those two names next to each other, I would not be able to connect them with a line at all.
I cannot imagine especially in 2002. Maybe if they made like a version of this in the 80s? Sure.
Yeah. But 2002 Michael Jackson was I don't know what he was up to.
Well past the point of just being like, oh, he's in movies. You know, if you see Michael Jackson did something in 2002, you're not like, oh yeah, he's getting work right now. I think he was dangling the baby out the window then.
It was also right around the time that Janet Jackson was in the process of getting, as like basically having her career ruined by Justin Timberlake and others, you know.
Was that 2002?
It was around that time. It might have been 2003 or 2004, but early 2000s, I think.
That was 2004.
2004, okay.
So it was closer to 9/11 than it was
nipple reveal.
The Janet Jackson, the Super Bowl XXX, nice. The III halftime show controversy.
God, what a fucking mess, man. But I think my favorite thing about this musical was definitely the Richard Gere things, because that is also the part that definitely leans into the most about this being a critique of like the criminal justice system. Obviously, the bit about parading her out to give the interview out in front of the jail, and then it turning into a ventriloquist dummy act where he is playing all the reporters as puppets and marionettes.
That was my favorite part of the movie. That the visuals of that song was very good. That's also
what the title of this episode is taken from. Is they both oh yes they both oh yes reached for the gun.
And I was really happy that, like, it was a little frustrating that the driving kind of narrative of this is that it's between Velma and Roxy, who want like the spotlight. who want attention on themselves, and they're fighting the entire time. And then, you know, Roxy's like, Velma, I would love to perform with you. And Velma's like, don't you fucking touch my underwear. And then Velma's like, hey, you're real popular now. I want to do a little dance and do both parts of it because you could be my sister. And she's just like, and Renee Zellweger is fucking hilarious in that segment.
There was a moment in that scene where I thought, like, because I didn't know how it was going to turn out. So my thought was like, oh, this is going to be the Vince McMahon meme where he's like interested and then like laser eyes or whatever. But it's not that, because she like is not interested, and then there's some things where she's like, okay, that's kind of cool, and then it ends with her just being like, absolutely not, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
which is good. I do like that there's like a rivalry / hatred of each other that sticks through the entire thing.
The fucking payoff at the very end, which is such like just the I love the like it's showbiz baby aspect of that at the end, where she's just like it would never work, I hate you.
Yeah, and she's just like, that doesn't matter.
She's like, I only know one business where that doesn't matter. And then they dance together. Yeah, apparently in the 75 version, at least this is what I read, in the 75 version, everything was presented in that kind of vaudeville format. And then it's what did they say? Minimalistic in the revival in the 90s. But they said they combined those two by having the like reality scenes be in this film kind of cut in between the kind of fantasy vaudeville scenes, so you get like a little bit of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, one of the songs that was cut is actually between Velma and Mama Thornton, called Class, yes. And that was cut basically because they were not going to be able to figure out a way to do this. Like, it almost is this is a stupid comparison, or maybe a funny comparison, but it reminded me of Scrubs, the musical episode of Scrubs, where like the music is always just like, oh yeah, this lady who has a brain tumor, so she just hears people singing. It almost is like that, where like things start to happen and Roxy is just like starts to disappear into a fantasy world that is the song, you know. But I think it's done very well here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's like a weird kind of like, and there's like almost a Mulholland Drive feeling at certain points, which I'm sure Mulholland Drive was influenced by this. If this isn't just another tale as old as time.
Mulholland Drive was 2001 though, right?
Oh, really? I mean, but the play before the movie. I think it has the same design. I've never seen Sucker Punch. I heard that was had some issues though, right?
Sucker Punch is Zack Snyder's
that's
jerk
right,
off
Zack
film.
Snyder.
I don't know anything about that film. That's just what I've heard.
Yeah, that's his jerk off film, and now he's making an edging film, right? Isn't that what Batman or Justice League, the never-ending movie? Is that what they're making now?
It's Justice League, the Snyder Cut is coming out at some point this year, in a couple like months or whatever.
Are we gonna do an episode on that?
Probably.
Do you think
it's got Jared
Batman
Leto
versus
in it.
Superman? I know, so we can't. It's.
Yeah, he's bad.
You know, and okay,
we can
so
boo him.
we're gonna get back to Chicago. I do want to talk about, they released the photo of what this
He got his tattoos removed.
So that's the thing. I think they said he just has makeup on. So he's got tattoos. Yeah, but he just puts makeup to cover them up, which is hilarious.
Yeah, dude, like that's the most Joker shit ever, man. It's just like he's damaged, but like he still covers it up. He's got to hide the scars.
That's the classic joke.
That's literally what the fucking Heath Ledger Joker is. Is that like he got the scars on his mouth and he's covering it up with the makeup.
Yeah,
you know
what they say. All jokes and no jokes makes Heath the joke boy.
The joke boy. Well, he died after that movie, or before that movie even came out.
Well, that's why you gotta be afraid of having jokes and no jokes.
So
it's not easy being a joke boy.
Speaking of jokes, another funny thing that and we'll get into John C. Reilly's character real quick, but I do like that Richard Gere never calls him the right name until he's in the courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
And
he calls him
Andy
at first. That's a fun little joke they did.
And he
there.
finally calls him Amos as he approaches the stand, and it works because like it is him basically like setting John C. Reilly up to be like, oh, Roxy baby, I love you, take me back or whatever.
So I mean, literally, John C. Reilly's character in this is a married incel.
Yeah, he's a schmuck.
Who gets Joker-fied.
It literally at one point is
he's the most sympathetic portrayal we've seen of someone who involuntarily is celibate. Then becomes Joker-fied and looks in the mirror and puts makeup on his face.
Yeah, the worst thing that happens.
And then sings a little song.
The worst thing that happens to him is definitely Roxy just being like, yeah, he sucks to have sex with. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, like, he seems to be a working mechanic. Maybe he works a little too much. It's unclear because that seems like it's just part of the fucking story that they made up. So yeah, it just seems like John C. Reilly was like this guy who's like, yeah, I'll take the heat for you. And then he finds out that it was their furniture salesman. And he's just like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, he's not even mad at her. He's just like, that doesn't, we knew him.
Yeah, why
is he a burglar?
We think we're the stupidest boys.
He's very dumb.
He's the stupidest fucking boy in the whole city. At first though, he's like, honey, I will 100% lie to you that this
he's
man
like, I do not
was
care.
Here and I shot him. And then she's like, hey, she just told me to say that. And then the rest of the movie is people just telling him to say things.
Yeah, and then he looks in the camera and says, "This is the joke that I wanted to make, which is, I'm going to become the Mr. Cellophane. You can look through me, you can see right through me, or whatever. I forget the line.
That's when they go out and they say, Amos, they're ready for you out there, and he says, hey, I have one question." When you introduce me, could you call me Mr. Cellophane?
We should do
and then Mark Maron's like, sure.
Yeah, we should do a gritty reboot of the joke, like Joker 2, but it is just John C. Reilly playing this character, going out, and he's like, what do you get when you cross a criminal justice system? And then he just shoots Richard Gere in the face, I guess. Or maybe that judge, I'm not sure.
Yeah. So the saddest thing is that that part's actually true.
Yeah, she, like, in real life, she just straight...
after the day after the trial ended with acquittal, Blue Anon, announced, I have left my husband.
From Serial.
That's how he gets the fucking clout.
Yeah.
She announced, I have left my husband, he is too slow. And 1926, she claimed that he had deserted her and divorced him. So hard to tell what's going on there. But it sounds like it's the same thing that happened. So yeah, let's follow that guy. By the way, Blue Ann, in real life, this all happened when she was 25, and she died of tuberculosis at 28, which is a fucking sad ending to Chicago if you take that into account. Belva, though, did live to be 80.
Damn.
And I think she was guilty because apparently she did threaten multiple lovers afterwards that she would kill them.
We already said that's cool and good. So,
that's true. We did say it's a crime, but we didn't say it wasn't cool.
Crime is cool.
Yeah. No, that's the one of the lessons of this movie.
THIMK the podcast. Crime is
THIMK
cool.
the podcast. The crime is cool. Killing shitty dudes is hot.
Yeah.
Chicago, killing shitty dudes is hot. That's what it says on the sign when you try them.
What do you... I think the saddest thing about this film to me is definitely the Hungarian lady who... Oh, yeah. His name is Hunya? Something like that.
Hungarian. Yeah, they didn't even give her a name. They just called her Hungarian.
because like literally, if you look at the like, because her lines are all in Hungarian. Literally, the only thing she says in English is which is not really saying anything, and not guilty. But if you translate the lines in Hungarian, she just talks about like, yeah, I stumbled into the body. I have no idea what happened. And her case is literally, they're like, we don't know what you're saying. Nobody wants to represent you, you fucking murderer. And then they hang her. And like the thing is like she definitely is not guilty, or at least the film is portraying it very much as she's not guilty, because during the cell block tango, everybody else is like, yeah, I fucking killed. What is it? Somebody said in the chat earlier, if you'd have been there, you'd seen it, you'd have murdered him too. Steven said that earlier. Like she's the only one that when they do the turnabout there of like, yeah, I fucking did it, everybody else pulls out the red handkerchief, and then they're all in like some weird hot BDSM kind of gear. But she's the only one who pulls out a white handkerchief, and it's just like, I didn't do it.
The beginning of this movie is really hot and very horny, and then it just becomes funny. It gets pretty funny quick.
It's amazing. I was saying this to Sarah. We watched Hamilton last. A film that is
a sexless film.
Like anti-sex, to like not by its own fault, right? Like, or not by
it is very much a movie about beautiful like, women saying to Lin-Manuel Miranda's face, I would love to have sex with you.
Yeah, and therefore
you're the best. Everyone's like, you're the best person I've ever met, and everyone says that you're the best at everything, so you're probably pretty good at fucking. What's up?
There's a whole song.
Hamilton.
There's a whole song about a person who is not Hamilton's wife being like, damn, I wish I had fucked him, but instead I said, yeah, you can fuck my sister.
Yeah.
And then like, but
my one regret is that I did not fuck Lin-Manuel Miranda as Alexander Hamilton.
So deeply unhorny film, and then to watch this film, which immediately opens up of just like, it's 20 Chicago, baby.
Everyone's
booze.
fucking. Everyone's
fucking jazz.
Also, yeah, it's amazing. They're like, so why did you do the murder? Why did you do the crime? And then Richard Gere's just like, I was liquor and jazz. You know how it is. And everyone's just like, yeah, that checks out. That is what happens when you mix liquor and jazz.
Well, if you're from Southern America, you're not built for genetically. You just don't have the genetics for jazz.
Yeah. Also, I feel like half of the people in this movie, or the people they're based on, are from Kentucky.
I guess right what you know.
Right what you know. Maureen Dallas Watkins is from Kentucky. Who is it? Balula is
from
Owensboro,
real quick,
Kentucky. Yeah.
Real quick rundown then.
Yeah.
Bubblegum popping.
That's
murder over popping bubblegum.
Makes sense.
Good.
Agreed. Still a crime, but good.
Arsenic lady, was that an affair? I think. I don't even remember what the setup is.
Maybe she was just bored and wanted to kill him.
All right, cool, fine.
She's hot.
Not guilty lady. No, sorry. Another accused of having an affair with the milkman. Stabs her husband. Well, her husband ran into the knife 10 times or something like that. That's fine. Happens. That's his fault. Oops.
On him. Try being hotter.
Not guilty.
Yeah. Hungarian woman.
Yeah. That she didn't do it.
Skip over.
So actually, probably the worst of them, because she didn't kill a hot guy.
Yeah.
That's not hot shit.
That's why she's the only one that dies.
That's true. Velma, who definitely killed her sister and lover.
Yeah.
Points for killing the lover. I feel like you lose some points for killing your sister.
No.
You get points? I don't understand.
I don't think you lose or get any. I think that's just kind of.
And then the lip shits.
Yeah. Who's lip shits?
That's the last lady.
Because they kept saying that, and I just kept thinking about the psychiatrist from the Rugrats. Yeah, I just kept thinking about.
Same. Yep.
Yeah, I just hear that, and I'm like, yeah, isn't it funny that they named the psychiatrist in Rugrats lip shits? Because Rugrats was created by Scientologists who don't believe in psychiatry.
They have a whole episode about Hanukkah, man. I feel like there's
Yeah, no, Tommy's half Jewish, half Scientologist.
Okay, that tracks. Sure. I don't remember what Lipschitz did. He probably deserved it. It's fine. So
don't you remember when Reptar goes to space and meets Xenu?
Some would say that Reptar is maybe Xenu himself.
Some would say.
That's what that Oasis song is about. Some might say. I don't have anything else there.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not going to sing it. We'll get DMCA'd. That's going to be my excuse anytime you ask me to sing anything. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. This whole film is just about like not even tabloids, because it is like real journals, like journalism. It just sucked in the 20s, and it's about like, because everybody's chasing the new big story, right? Like that's the whole reason that there's a big fight between Velma and Roxy is that Velma's story kind of loses its steam because like Roxy is the hot new thing. Mm-hmm. And then Lucy Liu comes in for a second, having killed 3 people. And then Roxy's immediately just like, but I'm pregnant. And they're like, yeah. Fuck you.
That was great. I was like, holy shit, is this movie about Lucy Liu now? I was like, I didn't even fucking know Lucy Liu was in this.
Yeah. And she's not in it for long.
Holy shit, fucking Lucy Liu. And just like being arrested in just a brawl, you know?
And like fighting the cops.
And just kicking a
she
dude
doesn't give
fucking
shit.
Nuts.
I guess that's what happens when your parents are like
they own all the pineapples.
The United Fruit Company or whatever.
Yeah, all I know
her parents absolutely murdered some like labor union leaders in Hawaii, for sure.
But they just skip fucking right over that because Renee Zellweger, Roxy's like, it falls down. Great move, fucking brilliant. Just a little fall, and then says, "Oh no, what about the baby? I hope I didn't hurt the baby." And they're like, "A baby?
A baby?
A baby?"
And then they go to the doctor, and I was unclear what happened there. Because until the end of the film when she's just like, oh yeah, the baby's not real, I straight up thought that doctor, they were just like, they took her to a doctor until she got pregnant. Like I thought that doctor, like she fucked that doctor. I'm like pretty sure, because he says something about button your fly. But I thought they were like, we're going to real inseminate you with this doctor.
No, I think she just did some hand or mouth stuff in exchange for him saying
she's pregnant. But I thought they were going to actually make her pregnant. Because you can't fake that.
A hand or mouth stuff doctor? You heard it, ear, nose, and throat. How about hand or mouth stuff doctor?
Those are the places where they can go. The ear, the nose, or the throat. Don't think about it too hard, Nick. Let's move on. Yeah, I just thought they straight up were like, yeah, we're gonna get her pregnant. So I thought there was like an implication that they went to that doctor multiple times until it took.
Okay. You thought Richard Gere was like, come on, Roxy, I know you love fucking. That's what got you into this whole situation. Also, that cut at the beginning, I was like, did they just fuck for a whole month? Have they been in that hotel room fucking for the whole month? And McNulty's just tired. He's like, don't fucking touch me.
Day. Good night.
Good night. That's what he said.
Speaking of fucking for the whole month.
He says, good night. I lied to you. I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just a furniture salesman. I was getting some money that the bass player owed me. Oh yeah, and then he shoots her, and then the cops are like, he had 6 kids and a wife. And she's like, what a fucking liar. What a piece of shit. I was glad I killed him before. I'm doubly glad I killed him.
I stand firm in my belief that she did nothing wrong there. That dude fucking sucked.
What she did was cool and hot, and I support it, but I'm not going to say it's nothing wrong.
Okay.
Have you even watched The Wire?
No, I haven't.
Because that dude's McNulty. I don't know anything else that guy's ever been in.
Sure.
But that's the fucking dude from The Wire.
I looked him up briefly, and I don't remember. The other thing that I wanted to hit on before we wrap up, because I feel like we're getting there. Whatever. Is definitely the courtroom scene. Again, bringing back Richard Gere as this.
Which one?
the circus number.
Okay, yeah.
Again, bringing back this Richard Gere is like this hot shit lawyer that is just playing everybody. That was great, bringing the evidence in, and then him seemingly on the fly defending against this journal that Velma brings up.
Oh, that was a good move.
I liked that. That was a very good.
I liked when he said the audience, I mean jury.
Yes.
That's a nice little thing they did there. But yeah, that little twist of the diary.
Yeah. No, it's very good, and like also immediately clear that it's fake, because like Roxy is cool and good. Roxy has not done anything at all in this film to like show off the vocabulary contained in that diary.
That's a great thing, is that Richard Gere's like, no, we all know Roxy. She's dumb as shit, right?
Like, do you know what perjury is? It's great.
She doesn't know what that word means. Erroneous? I don't know what that word means. I don't even want to say that other word.
And then accusing he does the Cicero thing, or Catullus, one of the ancient Roman Latin writers or whatever.
Cicero, like near Chicago?
Yeah, Cicero. Also where they killed where she did it.
It all comes fucking full circle. Is that a reference? Is that a fucking mythological reference, dude?
But he, I think it is Cicero. He does the Cicero thing where like, Cicero would do this thing when he was like talking smack about somebody, where he would just be like, I'm not even going to bring up how this guy, cheats on his wife and hits little kids with his car. I could do that. I'm not going to. I'm above that. Let me just attack this guy's argument. But like by bringing it up, you're like, oh yeah, dude, like this dude sucks. So he does that with the he's like, who would do this? Who could do this?
That would be ridiculous.
It's like,
that's only something you'd read in the headlines.
He's like, would I accuse the prosecutor of this? Clearly the work of a lawyer. I would not do that. Like very much like skirting the line of being held contempt of court.
And that's how they fucking get you. Because at the end, he's like, hey, Roxy, sorry for borrowing your diary, but I think you'll appreciate it.
I added some sentences. So I hope you don't mind the erroneous entries that I added or some shit like that.
Yeah, and you're like, you 3D chess, lick ass, puppet master, ventriloquist, king.
Do you think they got him? Do you think they got him because of Primal Fear?
I don't, is that a movie or just like the thing? like Richard Gere just evokes something.
Yeah, they got him because of it, the Primal Fear it. No, Primal Fear is the movie in which he defends Edward Norton from being arrested for murdering a priest by basically saying like, oh yeah, this guy's insane. And then Edward Norton at the very end is just like, just kidding. I made it all up. I was crazy the entire time.
What year did that come out in?
97, I think. It was
maybe
late 90s.
I'd say they for sure got him because he's not fucking Michael Jackson in 2002. But what do I know? All I know is Chicago. I'm gonna give it 4 hours of listening to Hula Loo while a shitty dude dies in front of you out of 4.
I'm gonna give it 5 Tommy guns out of 5.
Nice. TGs. How many Machine Gun Kellys out of 1?
Half a Machine Gun Kelly.
I don't really like that guy.
The Machine Gun is the half that I'd give it.
Yeah, no Kelly, all Machine Gun.
Oh man, that shit is that his album title? Because that's a good album title.
I've never
all
Machine
Gun,
stuff,
no Kelly.
I'm not gonna start. Yeah, all Machine Gun, no Kelly, and it's just a noise album of guns being fired.
What's the?
I don't know if he watches, but MGK, if you're out there, cut off that K. We got some MG ideas for you.
Yeah.
Magnum. I don't know. What that is.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Nick, do we have anything else you want to hit on the musical Chicago?
anything else I think we can cover in our cabaret episode, because
Okay.
I feel like some things will come up as we learn about fucking also mastermind Bob Fosse, who, if he can't get the rights, just live longer than them.
Mm-hmm. You either die not directing a musical or live long enough to buy the rights when it gets foreclosed on by the bank.
You got anything you want to plug?
Not personally just yet. Upstairs does have some new music that's coming out soon. I would just tease that there, but I'm not going to say exactly when, because I don't think we've announced it. But news will be coming on that by the end of the month, I believe. Beyond that, I believe we're going to be streaming on Saturday again. This continuing, I think, with Resident Evil 7. I don't remember where we are. I think we killed the Bug Lady, who became bugs.
Sure don't remember where we are. But
yeah, hopefully hopefully with less MIDI samples this time.
Absolutely not. I downloaded a whole bunch of different things.
God fucking damn it. Okay, well.
I wanted to plug my noise project that I do Saturdays on stream while Paul plays video games. Just come hang out. I'll try and write a song for you if you request it. I don't sing, but I do have a lot of sound effects that include people just kind of yelling things.
I provide the vocals, and it's just me getting spooked at like a lady growing really long arms and then kind of going like
yeah. Once places reopen, we are trying to have some live sets in Cincinnati of Paul playing video games while I try and figure out how a MIDI controller works next to him.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun. But hey, until then, don't think too hard without us.
And if you go to jail, hopefully you can afford to pay the piper. In this case, Mama Thornton. Billy Flynn does it for the love.
Queen Latifah is now starring in a reboot of The Equalizer that's going to be, I think, on CBS. So check that out. They're not paying us. I
Nick just saw the Super Bowl. He saw the Super Bowl ad.
Yeah,
there were a lot of them. Also, Clarice. What a weird thing that they're doing. we're gonna do a reboot of the
Silence of the Lambs. I want to hear more about those lambs, though.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know what my issue is with Clarice and all the commercials around Clarice?
No.
Okay. First off, they can't mention Hannibal. Hilarious, because the rights are owned by two different companies. But the other thing is, in the advertisements, the Death's Head moth plays a very big part in the advertisement. Like when she is walking through the barn, that she's like got 3 or 4 moths flying around her. And the thing is that in the original Silence of the Lambs movie, the Death's Head moth is what really gives away James Gum, because the Death's Head moth is not native to America at all. It is like native to Asia, and he had to buy it and get it shipped to him, and that helps him like kind of pin down where he's located. So the fact that there are a bunch of them flying around her inside this barn makes no sense.
Well, I think
watch the NBC Hannibal. It's good.
I feel like the show's entirely inspired by the movie poster. I don't think there's anything more than that. You know how they made like video game version of The Sopranos and Fight Club that are just based off the movie poster? That's what we finally get a TV version that's just, hey, that Silence of the Lamb movie poster is pretty iconic. Why do we get a fucking Mia Wallace backstory TV show on Amazon Prime?
The one thing that I'm interested, I'm not going to watch this show, but the thing that I am interested in is they do definitely have a female voice saying hello, Clarice. So it just seems like they're going to be like, what if Hannibal Lecter was a girl boss?
That's interesting. That's cool. Interesting, and I would like to see Hannibella.
Hannibella Lecter.
But also, I'm just going to tell you, I think a lot of people say hello, Clarice, to Clarice.
That's also probably true.
I feel like most people
But the way it's
say that
delivered,
to her.
the way it's
Yeah.
delivered, I don't know. We'll see.
It sounds like it's got a little human flesh on the palate.
It's not. Yeah, it reeked of fava beans and Chianti. Chianti. He says Chianti.
Chianti. He's a man of culture. And so
Mads Mikkelsen's is way better.
For watching
the whole episode.
I like Brian Cox's in the 80s Gil Grissom starring fucking Manhunter, whatever.
Manhunter. Yeah.
That's my Hannibal Lecter. Everything else is fucking bullshit. And that's
Tom Noonan as Francis Dollaride.
Yeah, dollar. He's got dollars for eyes. And speaking of, patreon.com/THIMK, go check out 3 Alex Joneses and a Baby, one of our secret hidden episodes that you only get if you want to give us a little money, $2 a month. That's nothing. That's nothing. It's like a bottle of wine. Yeah. Which we need because we're dehydrated.
Yeah, I ran out of water like an hour ago. I'm dying of thirst.
Mm-hmm. Well, I already said until next time, don't think too hard without it. So I will use my beeline. You can take off your Thimpkin hat now. All the heavy information's gone out the window.
I can't think of anything. So
no, it was put on your
your thinking helmet, because we're about to hit you over the head with some knowledge. But this is the end of the episode, so you take that helmet off and you put it right down next to your bed and you go to sleep.
No, I kind of like that we're doing we got to find a better word for good cop, bad cop. Let's just do good guy,
cop,
bad guy.
Like
so I'm being like the good guy, and I'm like, you can take your helmet off, you can take your hat off, it's fine. And you're like, no, you keep it on. You fucking keep it on.
Yeah, you wear that helmet to bed, young man, or woman, or whatever.
Person.
Non-binary. I don't
think anyone likes the term NB.
No, some people like it, but I want to put that on people. I don't. Ladies and gentlemen, there's whole fucking discourse around whether what's the best version of ladies and gentlemen is not important.
Yeah, we have one, right? We have a personalized one for this podcast.
THIMK
gender neutral.
THIMK. Put on your fucking helmet and go to bed.
The good guy who believes actually good.
Yeah, you put on your helmet. The person who thinks that Roxy killing the guy is good, put on your helmet and go to bed. That's Nick.
Okay.
No, it's me. Go to bed, Nick.
I gotta go to bed. Bye.
I'm going to sleep as well. Good night.